Hi, I'm Ted Wolf, presented by Guidewise. Welcome to the Implementors podcast, where we connect you to the stories and insights of people who have mastered implementation. Why? Because ideas are easy, but implementation is hard. Join us as we uncover the secrets of successful implementation so you can conquer your implementation struggles. Today on the Implementors podcast, we're joined by someone who's taken machine learning from galaxies to groceries. Karim Pichara, co-founder and CTO of NotCo, is a scientist turned founder behind one of the most disruptive AI platforms in the food industry. Before building a $1.5 billion plant-based food tech company backed by Jeff Bezos, Karim was applying machine learning to detect quasars at Harvard. Now, he's using AI to decode what makes a burger juicy or mayo taste just right, without a single animal ingredient. As the father of Giuseppe, NotCo's proprietary AI platform, Karim is solving one of the food industry's biggest challenges: how to turn plant-based innovation into products people actually crave. In this episode, we'll explore how NotCo is translating cutting-edge research into market-ready products, building cross-disciplinary teams of engineers, scientists, and chefs, scaling AI-driven R&D across new markets, and navigating the emotional realities of being a founder tackling one of the world's toughest problems. If you're curious about how AI is transforming industries beyond tech, or how to turn a radical idea into real impact, this is a conversation you won't want to miss. So welcome to the Implementors podcast, Karim.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'd like to start off, I'm very curious in doing my research. Your journey began with applying machine learning to astronomy at Harvard. What inspired you to transfer or transition from classifying stars to revolutionizing plant-based food with AI?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, I always had this passion of trying to understand how, by using AI and machine learning, we could create new things or discover new things by applying it to different scenarios. So at the university, I was mostly working in understanding the universe, detecting objects with AI, accelerating, what astronomers could do with their hands exponentially with the help of these AI systems. Well, later I got this opportunity when I had this coffee with my co-founder, Matthew, right? That he's the CEO. And he told me about this big, gap in the food industry. There wasn't any technology applied. And compared to industries like pharma, for example, food was way behind. No data, no formal data, no technology applied to improve formulations, make better products for people finding novel combination of ingredients. So I saw that opportunity, and I understood that if we cracked the way to submerge a great technology and improve the food industry by bringing better products for people, we would definitely have a great impact in the world. So I couldn't say no to that idea. And since that conversation, we wouldn't stop working on that.
Okay. And do you find there's carryover between astronomy at Harvard and plant-based food AI?
Well, there are some, essentially some of the stuff are similar. When you try to discover properties of objects, you don't need to touch it, but you can get scientific or analytical measurements that can tell you something of the object, right? Like we're observing with telescopes that are incredibly huge and sophisticated sensors that bring you different perspectives of the objects from where you can conclude certain, properties by using the right technology. With food, it's like, okay, yeah, we can try food, we can sense it, but we have no idea what is in there. We have no idea how it is affecting our body or what are the nutritional properties, right? But we can know that by using the right sensors and analytical measurements. So that is some sort of an analogy. And since day one at NotCo, we started getting data, proprietary data, by hiring specialized food scientists that would get these analytical measurements for all the ingredients and recipes that we could create. So we could later have an AI technology that will learn from that data and get, much better than us at formulating and understanding taste and other functional properties.
So I'm curious, throughout your life, has there been a trend where you've been what we might call a foodie, love food, the taste, and the preparation of the entire meal, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, there's a big difference when you create food at an industrial level, because you need to pay attention to many other challenges that or you can only use ingredients that are available locally that make, for example, your product feasible at scale and cost effective. Like you know that people won't be able to access the food if it's extremely expensive. You also need to understand the process variables that are in charge of producing the food at scale. So all those things play an extremely crucial role when it comes to having a product in the hands of people. Yeah, in the more foodie side, you have maybe a more manual control because it is a low scale food. So those are different worlds, even though they sound pretty similar.
Yeah. Giuseppe, it's your proprietary platform, AI platform. Walk us through the development of, if you could, how it translates consumer insights into market-ready products.
Yeah. Well, today we understand that to create a food product scalable, you need to go from first the idea of the product, like what is the actual concept that we want to create here? Because you have a brand involved, you have consumers that you want to target, and you know that your product wants to target certain consumers, so it should have certain properties. With Giuseppe, you can create these innovation ideas, and Giuseppe is telling you, these are, for example, a few concepts that are innovative, white spaces that you don't see out there. Those are, the purchase intent of the different, consumer categories or groups that would target this or that are more likely to, buy this product. These are the main properties that are attractive to these people, and these should be some of the ingredients that should be contained. And these are the functional, effects that we want this product to have. So after having all this brief of the product that was created by Giuseppe, and with actual, today we can leverage image generation systems, and we can create the packaging in advance and look and see how attractive it is for the consumers. Then you can understand how to start formulating. So the second step of Giuseppe is to formulate a prototype, meaning, can I make this product at least a reality at a culinary level in the kitchen, like with, maybe not industrial ingredients? Can we do that? And after we do that, then we understand sort of like, okay, there is a way to create this sensorially attractive product that is tasting good and it has part of the functional properties at this level. Now we need to scale it up. Is it possible to have this product produced at high volumes in a local, production plant? Is it, are all the ingredients that I need to use locally available? How about the cost? How about the regulation? Is this product, maybe some of the ingredients are allowed up to a certain amount in the geography where you want to launch the product? You need to take all those aspects into consideration, and Giuseppe helps you with that. So it helps you formulate and, hit all these, constraints on targets that you want to have a final scalable product.
How do you formulate or start to formulate the product? Do you say, we want to make the world's best hamburger, so we've got to be able to get taste profiles on hamburger? Is that how you actually start your process?
Yeah, you can do that. Once you can describe what you want, but also you can even use a product as a target. Let's say that there's some, maybe a burger out there that has the right sensorial profile that you want. You can get an analytical measurements of that burger in your lab, and then you can have an objective, proxy of that burger, and you can, maybe target that sensorial profile.
Okay. And do you have a preference in food style, or can you adjust it? I want more, I'm going to say, more of an Asian flair or a South American flair or an American flair. Can you actually reprofile products in that way?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something we do all the time, because we formulate products for different geographies, that we offer our AI services to other companies that would launch their products in different parts of the world. It's not just our own products, right? And in general, they request for different profiles that are very related to the cultural, aspects of the people in the region. So we need to adapt. For example, you use two things. One is the analytical measurements of the profile they want, and together you put together that with a sensorial team's feedback that is trained people that would give you exactly what they want when it comes to the sensorial targets. You use all that combined in order to create this formulation.
Okay. So when you are going out then to build your staff, I mean, the key to building a viable company is surround yourself with the absolute best people that you can, complement your skills. How do you go about evaluating their background to determine who is the next employee you want to bring in?
It's a good question. That it has to, has several features. I would say, like one is, of course, besides I would say all the technical capabilities, you want people that is, that want to eat the world, that they are really super energized, motivated, and that are, ready to take uphill battles in order to achieve what we want to achieve. That happens when you are doing something that no one else did before. For example, if we are bringing an AI technology that would transform the way companies formulate or create products, you need to deal with other companies that have teams that have been working in the same way for 50 years, especially the biggest companies. And when you want to go and talk to them and tell us, guys, we have a new way of doing things, you need to change the way you work. We need to apply change management. You need to adopt this technology. That's an uphill battle. These other people, they feel like you're, take their jobs, that you want them to change something that they feel that shouldn't be changed because it's the best way to do things. So when we want to go out there and try to transform those teams, you're not going to get a yes as an answer. So you need people energized and be able to stand again and go again and again and insist and understanding that at some point we're going to get there. We just need to keep making progress and pushing with all our force. That means you need energized people, motivated. And I would say that's even more important today than the technical aspects that by leveraging AI, maybe you can get that support, right?
Yeah. And if you look in the future, a couple years in the future, 3-5 years in the future, what is success for the company NotCo and the AI technology?
Yeah. To me, the success is our technology and our technology is deployed in all the other food companies, and the products that you see out there are all way better thanks to our technology services. That's the future I want. I want to see out there products that are better sensorially, that nutritional profiles, that people can access better food for themselves and for the planet because we help those companies in reformulating their products or creating new ones.
Okay. And how do you know when you actually hit the bullseye? I'm going to go back to the hamburger example. I love hamburgers. I take a bite into a hamburger. I know I love it or I don't from my first bite, and it's an emotional experience inside of me.
Yeah.
How do you capture that through AI and what you're doing?
Well, at the end, the only way to approve a product is by using people, because the products are going to be sold and consumed by people, right? So we have, in general, when a company is, for example, asking us the service of reformulating one of their iconic products with our technology, they demand from us that we do an external test, blind test with external companies, totally unbiased, that will compare our product again against other products in the market, and they will rank them. And they, in general, they demand that our products are better than the alternatives. So if we pass a blind test with a trained and an untrained, consumer panel, then we are ready to go. That's the best way to approve or decline a new product.
Okay, so when you get to the point where you do a taste test and people absolutely love it, there's an awful lot that goes in to making that one experience happen. So can you take us from a general standpoint through the rollout from the initial, I'm going to say the initial work to the end product that you're giving somebody? What are the steps and the stages that you go through?
Okay, that's a good question. Because in general, products are about an iteration with people. You never get the best product in a one-shot way because the system, Giuseppe, needs feedback. When you, I would say the most common application of AI technology in the industry are prediction models in where, you input something and you get an output. For example, with ChatGPT, you input text, you get another text as an output. And here, one day you need to, for example, solve the texture or the cooking time of a burger because maybe some company is asking that our formulation gets cooked exactly as the one that they have today. You need to reduce cooking time. Another day you need to make our milk to foaming cold because people is asking for cold brews, and so many requests that are different all the time. So it is not possible to have the same training data and try to have one AI model that would have to predict the same output given the same input. The problems are unstructured. That means that the AI, Giuseppe, has to learn all the time new things. So Giuseppe asks questions and then it gets feedback. And through a few iterations, start learning about what you want by getting your feedback, processing it, and understanding the effect of all these aspects that are playing a role. So like process variables, ingredient proportions, or ingredient selections and many other things with the final targets that you want, your sensorial, the expected sensorial profile. So it is an iterative process and as you said, you start with something that is not good and you need to get that feedback and understand what's not good to end up in the product that is the winner product.
Yeah. This is fascinating. So it's not just really going in and looking at taste. It's what do you have to do in the process steps to get to that taste that you have to analyze with AI. So I would imagine there's hundreds of points that you have to be able to examine to put this entire process together. So the end result is the taste that you want, but it's not just about taste. Is that correct?
Exactly. It's texture. It is, all the nutritional profile you want, the restriction, the functional properties. You want high protein. You want it to foaming cold. You want it to, have maybe sometimes low carb release, high energy, so many things that you want besides the test. And also you need to be complying with the certain regulations. You need to have maximum amount of sugar because no one wants sugar today, or, so many things that all together need to be solved. That makes a fascinating problem, especially in food when you cannot solve things sequentially. You're going to solve one thing expecting that the next step is going to be to solve the next one, because when you go to the next one, you need to change again things that would screw up the previous one. It has to be a solution that at the same time can solve all these aspects.
Okay, so I'm going to go to more of a curiosity question here now. In a lot of cuisine, you have a food and then they pair the right wine with that. So I'm going to go back to my hamburger example. I'm going to have a hamburger and I'm going to have a Diet Coke and I'm going to have French fries with it. Do you take the surrounding foods into consideration when you start working with your AI model?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have discussed that. We don't. And why? Because you never know what's going to be the consumption or the way people consume the product. It has to be, you need to choose something that hopefully applies to most of the cases, right? Because let's say we combine the design of a meat and we ask our sensorial panel to drink wine and then evaluate the system, then what would happen if other people that would consume the burger without the wine, right? We are not doing that currently. In general, we isolate, all the rest and try to get to the targets without considering this potential other products that, by the way, they modify the perception. Totally agree. Coffee, wine, all those things are changing the way you perceive food.
Okay, so you're an entrepreneur. You came in on the ground floor and started working, putting this together. That had to be an emotional experience, or have emotions that you experienced maybe for the first time. How did you manage those emotions?
That's a very good point. And I try to mentor and help other entrepreneurs with that. No one help, or I couldn't learn that before. I wish I would, but I had to learn on the way. Um, the thing I always try to pass to the other entrepreneurs is like, learn to enjoy the journey. This is a journey, and it's about the journey. There's
Yeah.
no end game. Because many entrepreneurs will start and say, I have a company and one day I'm going to have an exit. One day we will sell the company. That day maybe will never come. And you don't want to feel like you are a failure because that day didn't come. Right? You need to enjoy the journey because that is unique. The things you learn when you start a company and you travel this company with from the creation, and since you are 2, 3, or 4 people until you are 400 people, that is unique. And the experience you get and all what you have in your head and your heart with that is, you cannot buy that, right?
Yeah.
That's priceless.
Right.
If later
Yeah.
you don't get the money you expected, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So it's all about enjoying the journey, treasuring the
Yeah.
journey, nothing
Yeah.
else.
What you just explained there, I think, is the model of what a lot of entrepreneurs need to hear. It is the journey that's most important. And I congratulate you on being able to learn that on the job and being able to apply that. If I may ask, how did the name NotCo come about? I'm always intrigued in how names of companies are arrived and created.
Well, Matthias, the CEO, he's very creative. And initially we said, we need to name our products, but how we can tell people or bring this, surprise factor, like they are trying something that is not what they think they are trying, but it's much better, right? So that was the idea. Initially, the first version of Giuseppe was trying to mimic animal targets with, but just using plant-based ingredients, right? Today we evolved to something beyond that, but at that point, it was necessary to have like a very disruptive message to people, like, wow, what is this? This is not milk. This is not mayo, right? So what it is, we don't know, right? And that helped us with so many other things like why not, or um, so we started with the name the Not Company, that later was abbreviated to NotCo. So that's why
Okay.
our products are not milk, not snack bar, and all that.
Okay. That's fascinating. That's very interesting and very good. Very good. So where do you see yourself moving then into the future?
Well, I'm still, very active in the company, trying to get to this dream that I was mentioning before. I see myself in the future trying to, work in scenarios in where with technology you can make the world better, bringing solutions, and that in general affect people. I would say like food is one way, health is another way, right? And so many others. And in general, I am very interested in this kind of big problems in where you detect this huge gap and you work on that. And in general, technology is a great enabler of these solutions.
Yeah. So in your wildest dreams, look into the future. You mentioned NotCo. You're doing so many things or going beyond what you originally thought you would be doing, which is very common in startups and in organizations. Where would you like to take NotCo in the future? What do you see happening that maybe people just aren't thinking about? Anything in particular?
I feel like the food industry still needs a lot of improvements. I feel we need new ingredients. We need new, I would say, like processes that today are very unexplored because of all the restrictions we have in practice. For example, when every company, especially the small companies, they don't have production plants. They need to modify, or restrict or narrow down their possibilities because of the options they get out there from the co-manufacturers, right?
Yeah.
So imagine that we had a possibility to modify, the production processes in the industry. The discoveries are endless, and that is totally unexplored, right? Especially by new companies that don't have the resources to do that. So I would love to see in the future NotCo being part of that revolution as well, like how we can really transform the entire chain in the food industry, enabling better ingredients coming from better sources, more functional, healthier, and then how do we transform the industrial processes that we have out there to have products that are way better than today. It's more sustainable, much healthier. You know that currently the food industry has a big problem. You've seen all the proliferation of cancers and many other diseases, probably a consequence of the food we eat, of the ingredients or the processes we have. And that is coming from the restrictions that we have out there in the industry. So there's a lot to do. And I would love to see many other companies helping with that, and being NotCo being one of the companies, as one of the pioneers in that transformation.
Well, you do a very good job of describing the purpose and your mission in the future. Karim, this has been an excellent conversation. I loved it. It's fascinating, and you're breaking so much new ground. So if somebody would want to talk with you personally or get in contact, what's the best way to do that?
By email, my name at notco.com. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you very much for the conversation. And I'd love to maybe circle back in the future and see what kind of progress you're making, because it's a very fascinating concept that you're putting in place and making real.
Happy to do that. And thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.